So yeah, I've been working with her around a year before I started learning GTR. Um, and it was really, I think from all my clients, she was one of the most complex ones due to her story, because there was so much going on so many different layers. So for one, she experienced a sexual abuse by her brother as a kid. Not just a one-time event, but that was through 2 or 3 years it happened. And then another of her traumatic memories that has been coming up frequently was traumatic miscarriages in her 20s. So then there was the event that she had an accident playing in the garden with her kids, where they would build a structure, a wooden cabin structure, and the older daughter released a log she was supposed to hold, and then the structure fell on her head. She fainted. She had to go to the hospital, and she had a concussion. And ever since, that's approximately 2 years ago, she had severe anxiety. She wasn't able to leave the house. No driving the car, even going for a walk was basically not possible. But the worst of all for her was that she was afraid to stay at home alone with her kids, which had a big toll on her marriage, because basically her husband wasn't able to meet with friends or to watch soccer with his friends, because she just literally ended up having panic attacks the moment he left the house. Even he likes to go jogging. So for a while, he couldn't even go jogging anymore because she wanted him to be at home all the time. So her fear was, if something happens to her, if she faints in front of her kids, then her kids would be scared. She don't want to traumatize her kids. Or if something would happen to the kids while she's alone with them, then she doesn't know how to react. So there was a lot of feeling responsible and not wanting to carry responsibility for the kids, for herself, not trusting that she could react to difficult situations in an appropriate way. And yeah, it was really, she was really suffering, because her entire marriage and everything was just impacted by it. So yeah, I've been working with her for a year with different modalities, and she's improving a lot. But there was still this traumatic memories coming up. There was still this anxiety kicking in and overwhelming her from time to time. So she reached out to me again after I haven't seen her for a while, telling me that she's really anxious for a trip to Italy. 8 hours in the car, and there could be a car accident. And so I told her that I am currently training GTR, if she wants to try that. And she was super excited about it and said, yes, 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 let's try that. And it was magical what happened in this session. We did the basic recipe on one of her traumatic memories. It actually turned out that, which was, I mean, mind-blowing for me, and I think also for her, that what is most traumatic for her of all the things that she went through was actually not the sexual abuse by her brother itself, but the fact that her mother didn't believe her. This sense of betrayal, of she doesn't take me serious and I can't do anything about it. I can't make her believe me. So yes, we've been using that in the basic recipe. And well, the emotional intensity over 3 rounds went from 7 to 0. And she would just, well, typical, yawn and look so relaxed after and tell me that she feels super relaxed now. And then she was actually able to go on this 8-hour car drive without any problem, which the moment we started the session, she was so upset, like she was shaking. She was really very emotional about it. And then the next day she messaged me, so yeah, we arrived in Italy and it was no problem. I was super relaxed in the car, and I just was like, wow, I wish I would have known GTR sooner.
And just out of curiosity, what was she afraid of would happen? Did she have an experience where a trip was planned and it didn't go well or something along those lines?
What uh, she actually told me that yesterday. So 2 weeks after that session is, she said, I have so many memories coming up now, and I could see how they all have this one common emotion, which is something I didn't see coming, something bad, something I wasn't aware of, something surprising but bad happened out of the blue. So her fear when she knew they're going to have this car ride was, what if something bad that I'm not expecting is going to happen, such as a car accident, another driver who's not driving responsible, or being stuck in a traffic jam inside a tunnel and we can't leave. So she herself said that I can see now that I'm just so afraid of things that are not in my control, things that I don't see coming are just happening and I'm in it and there's no way out. Such as in a traffic jam, there's just no way out. You just have to sit it out. And that's what she's afraid of. And I just had, this is so powerful to recognize that this is the core emotion of all her traumas. This something bad is happening that I wasn't able to foresee, and now I'm stuck with that. So now her compensation was to just avoid any situations where possibly something could happen, even to that extent of leaving the house, because something could happen if I just leave the house. And for her, just realizing that and now working on these memories with the basic recipe, and it's I mean, that's really hitting it on the core of it all.
It's unbelievable. And you did all that in one session.
Yeah, well, I was surprised myself that 1 year of work, it wasn't for nothing, because she did improve and it did help her. But there was always this remnant where I could feel we're not reaching that. And I didn't know, how can I help her with that? I didn't know how. So now with GTR, I do. So that's just
Yeah.
beautiful.
And how does that make you feel as a coach, having this in your pocket? What I guess what I'm curious about, what does it do with your confidence in your ability to help someone?
Yes, it's priceless to have this, to know that I have this tool where I just know I have this tool where we can really go to the core and work on that. It's not just an 80% solution, it's not just a 90% solution, but we can really work on each traumatic event, on the emotion, on this common theme that has been going on through all her life. And I just know I have this tool, so there's nothing for me to worry. She was one of my clients where I literally, between the sessions, I spent worrying, as in, how can I help her now with that? How can we reach that? Because we were talking and doing exercises from different modalities, but there was just always the sensation, there is this part where I don't know how to get her there. And just knowing that now I have the tool, it's just amazing. Yeah, confidence and feeling secure in the ability of being able to fully help her. That's 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 amazing.
And I imagine as a coach, especially for those of our students even who don't have the background in psychology, the realm of trauma was always like the hidden closet that nobody wanted to enter, even though we always knew that there was trauma in our clients.
Yeah, yeah. I think there is so much, because I mean, probably there's not one single human being on this planet Earth who doesn't have some kind of trauma, some more than others, but we all know how impactful it can be, which for me at least was the reason why I felt insecure sometimes because I know how deep these wounds are, and I just didn't want to do it wrong. I just didn't want to overload them. I didn't want to put my finger in the wound and make it even worse. So and even though I have some training that focuses on trauma, and I did have that, but I still had this 10-15% insecurity of what if I just do it wrong and I actually do more harm than good. That was my fear. So I could feel to a certain degree I was just always hesitant, as in how can I address it to just not make it worse. and now I know how, and that's just amazing.
So how do you feel now if somebody shows up for a session and they are carrying some trauma in their system?
I feel that there's nothing to worry about or to be afraid of. I just feel whatever they bring up, I have a tool to help them. Whether it's like several small traumas or these big ones, or I just feel I have the confidence, the trust in myself, step by step, to really help them work through that and release that. And then I can address it. That's the thing. Before, I felt like there were certain topics that I just felt like, maybe we just don't touch that right now, you know? And now I know, no, we can address it. And there's a gentle way to address it, to help or to support their healing by not re-traumatizing them, by not doing any harm. And that's the one thing I've been looking for so many years, like to finding this tool to address it and know that what I'm doing is for their good.
I also want to say with your client that you mentioned that you had the one GTR session with, from a psychological perspective, she had what we call agoraphobia, the fear of leaving the house. I mean, going into a means of transport, that's just another level, even more scarier than just leaving the house. And the reason for it is precisely what you said, that the whole world is perceived as this dangerous, unpredictable place where you don't know what's coming from left and you don't know what's coming from right. And so you just stay put. And to be able to help somebody with that, that's really huge. I hope you know that. And I just wanted to applaud you for that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, something else that happened after the basic recipe was that she suddenly said, I think I feel different about my daughter now. I think I actually unconsciously was blaming her for that, because it was the daughter who released the log, who then led to this entire structure they built falling on her head, and then her having the concussion and the anxiety, everything that came after. And she said, I noticed that I'm treating the older daughter differently than the younger one. And I don't feel so connected with her. And I think I've actually been blaming her for that. So that was, I did mention that in the documentation, but that's another shift inside her that happened. And I just think it was the entire session and everything. It was just magical, everything that happened.
That's so touching. And I can imagine that must have changed her relationship to the daughter.
She told me that she feels more connected with her now, and she notices that she communicates differently with her.
That's just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.